A report released by the World Bank several days ago indicates that Kenya has improved in ranking in the Ease of Doing Business Index, where out of the 190 countries sampled, Kenya improved from position 61 in 2018 to position 56 this year. But it is an improvement that means absolutely nothing to over 3,000 Kenyans who have so far lost their jobs in the last 5 to 6 months, with many more job losses expected to follow before the year ends. It is a continuous bleeding of the workforce that has been designed by the government itself as it goes into overdrive to raise more revenue through taxes to fund its ambitious capital-intensive projects, a well-intended but skewed initiative that is now forcing companies to look for alternative ways of cutting their cost of operation. According to Grace Kanyiri, the head of industrial relations at the Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, the current tax regime in the country is making it difficult for investors to come in due to its punitive nature.
You'll find a lot of companies that are doing what we call restructuring. And restructuring means that they're looking at their systems, they're looking at their structures, their organizational structures, and they're trying to see whether they are sustainable. And so in those large organizations, they're trying to restructure and see how they can reduce the workforce, because workforce also means a very high staff or wage bill. And so all these things are affecting the economy, they're affecting businesses, and they're causing redundancies. If the government arises and decides it wants to make a change in how businesses are run, not to complicate running of businesses, making it so difficult, it almost looks like it's a punishment to run a business, then businesses will not thrive.
Her sentiments are also echoed by John Mutua from the Institute of Economic Affairs, who says it will be next to impossible for the government to reach its target in revenue collection should the job losses continue, even as the country stares at an increased dependency ratio and possible civil upheaval.
The cost of this is obviously loss of revenue. There is loss of revenue, and that's what, I mean, as I started, I mentioned the fact that our revenue as percentage of GDP has been reducing, partly because what we are getting from corporate tax pay as you earn has also dipped. Consequence of that is revenue loss. At the same time, that can create some kind of social unrest.
The government has been asked to reorganize its wage bill if the recently announced austerity measures by the acting Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, seeking to cut all non-essential expenditure, are to bear fruits.
The cuts will be brutal, will be sustained, and without option. And it's high time that we adjust accordingly, because the success of this government will depend entirely on our dignity as a country to be self-sufficient in our own development priorities.
The reality of things on the ground may have begun reaching the 14th floor of the National Treasury building, forcing the government to take away over 130 billion shillings from state corporation, include 78 billion shillings from agency saving and excess funds, and redirect the money to the big four agenda projects which are yet to start bearing fruits, as well as reducing the Kenya Revenue Authority collection target for the 2019-2020 financial year. Now, for the small number of Kenyans who still enjoy the benefits of being employed in the private sector, hold on tight. You never know just when the time will come for you to take a walk. Mbogoh, K24, Nairobi.